Welcome to Sacred Sessions Ireland, where each week we connect to the sacred sites through Ireland. My name is Vicky Flanagan, and I'm an energy worker and a daughter of Ireland. And I'm really excited to share this meditation with you today, which is going to connect us through guided meditation to the powerful, incredibly generous, and healing energy of Newgrange. So before we begin this guided meditation, I'd like to talk a little bit about Newgrange and the energies that are present within this ancient structure today. So first, to talk a little bit about Newgrange, it is an Irish passage tomb which dates back to 3200 BC, and it's located in County Meath in Ireland. It's a large mound and it's approximately 18 meters in diameter, and the mound is surrounded by 97 curved stones. The entrance stone, which is the most famous or well known, it's very well preserved, and it's highly decorated with the spiral and the tri-spiral, which is unique to Ireland. Because Newgrange is over 5,000 years old, it's older than Stonehenge and it's older than the pyramids of Giza. So it technically existed before recorded history. It is a Stone Age Neolithic monument, so it was built by the Stone Age farmers, and it contains a passage which leads to chambers, and they're both aligned with the rising sun on the mornings around the winter solstice. So one of the main or the most famous features of Newgrange is the roof box, which is located just above the passage entrance. And then at dawn on the winter solstice, which is December 21st, and for a number of days before and after this day, sunlight enters the chamber through an opening in the roof box. And in Neolithic culture, the winter solstice marked the start of a new year, so it symbolized nature's rebirth. From what we've come to know about Newgrange, largely derived from archaeology, even mythology, and then the history during the Beaker period, and so on. So even though we do have some information to give us an idea of why our ancestors may have built this structure and why they gathered here, we don't know fully the reasons why. Which leaves so much room for exploration and a new path of discovery through energetics, by connecting to the subtle realm, and leaning into our intuition so that we can develop our own truth about why our ancestors may have gathered here, or what energies they were trying to harness or support or be in ceremony with. So I want to offer a new path. So understanding and connecting to the mystical energies of Newgrange by using my skills as an energy worker. I want to facilitate sessions where we have access to our truth, our inner knowing, by leaning into our intuition and using our mind's eye to explore the mystical energies that are present both above the land and below the land. When we're vulnerable enough to be curious, we open ourselves up to a new world that we never knew existed. And beyond developing our own unique bond with the land and with the energy of Newgrange, we might even realize why our ancestors revered Newgrange so much. So it's quite exciting. The energy of Newgrange. So when I visited Newgrange in person, I felt incredibly joyful, like my whole being, my whole body was enlivened and engaged on the land. So just by walking up the gravel path towards the mount, I could feel my body responding to the energy. And this is a different feeling than we would feel, say, in nature. If I was to take a walk in my local park, it may feel really beautiful and calming and peaceful, but it's different. It feels different when you walk on land, on sacred land, if your whole body responds differently. So I believe that when I was on the land, I could feel my body responding to something greater, something bigger that I was conscious of at the time. So I don't think I realized the healing that was happening as I was kind of being a visitor, being a tourist, walking around the mound and taking in the art and the stones and just the energy there. I think it took me coming back home to my house to be in meditation and connect with the sacred land energetically so that I can understand to what extent what had actually happened. And by tuning into Newgrange, I can perceive that there is an energy vortex, which is a vortex is a collection or a pool of energies. So I can perceive that there's a vortex on beneath the land of Newgrange. So it would be quite a large vortex, which means that this site would hold a lot of weight. And, in my opinion, Newgrange would be considered the matriarch of energy vortexes through Ireland. So there are many vortexes in Ireland, in our rivers, in our seas, and also beneath the earth. So when we visit this sacred land, we will receive the healing benefits of that particular vortex. We can feel it in our bodies, as I said. It's a sensed feeling. When we can, through these meditations that I'm offering, we can connect energetically to the vortex so that we can actually collaborate, support the vortex or the land in what it's up to in its own healing, and then ask it to heal us right back. So we can actually enjoy the benefits of stepping onto sacred land, but from the comfort or from our own home or from anywhere in the world. So that's the aim here. Just to talk a little more about what a vortex is, I've come to learn about working with vortexes that each have their own purpose, almost like an identity. So some may have their own specific colors, and again, they have their own hopes and dreams. It's a pool or collection of energy that's full spectrum. And this means that they have their own emotions, hopes and dreams, purpose, and soul and essence aspects. So this is not to say that they have a soul or an essence. It just means that they can actually relate to beings that have a soul like us. So a vortex as immense and vast as Newgrange means that it is heavily protected and guarded. So to engage with these vortexes on an energetic level, we need to be highly skilled and show up with the right intentions. For Newgrange's purpose, again, this is, if we think about how vast the vortex is at Newgrange and how incredibly generous it is, what I'm speaking about today is only one kind of sliver of what Newgrange can offer. So what I'm going to speak about today in terms of Newgrange's purpose is the purpose of the vortex here is to provide us with energetic upgrades for our whole being. So this means stagnant energy in our field, in our body, will be released, will be dissolved gently and sweetly, so that we can over time make space to embody more of our authentic essence, more of who we are on a spiritual level. And through this collaboration, we are going to reconnect the land of Ireland. We're going to learn how to be in relationship with the earth, and also to reconnect to ourselves, to our higher self. We're also going to ask Newgrange if it has any specific blessings, healings, and upgrades that are going to support us in maybe a part of our life that we're wanting to kind of upgrade at the moment. Maybe it will be able to support us in our own hopes and dreams, or just to become a better person. What's important about this vortex is we're receiving energetic upgrades from the highest light degree. This is a collection of energy that has a divine intelligence. It's both divine, universal matter, and also earth matter. So it knows us deeply on a human level and also on a soul level. So Newgrange works with our essence to upgrade our entire system, mind, body, soul, to allow more of our spirit and essence to be embodied now in our physical presence. It never bypasses our soul blueprint or our humanity. So Newgrange has great respect for and love and admiration for us as human beings. And because it's rooted in the ground and the earth matter, it understands us on a human level. And it respects us also on a soul level and the agreements that we made for this lifetime. So this means that upgrades are only going to happen as agreed by the soul, so that we can honor the choices and agreements that we made on those spiritual levels, and also what feels most supportive and what we can handle on a human level. Again, it does respect our human nature. So upgrades happen gently according to what we can handle. Remember that we're making space for more of our essence to be embodied, which is going to enhance all areas, all parts of our life. So in order to bring in more of our essence, we actually need to let go of old energies in and around the body. And this looks like shedding. So shedding, behaviors, letting go of habits, ways of being, even relationships or work that doesn't serve our highest self or align to who we truly are. And although releasing and shedding is something that we're on board with, and it's something that we're engaging with this meditation now because we're ready for these upgrades. Even though we know this, shedding can still feel uncomfortable. So it's always good to remember, engage the number of weeks or months that these shedding and these upgrades are going to take to integrate. And I will talk us through that during the meditation so that we can put it in our calendars, we can look back and judge or assess how these upgrades have impacted ourself, our sense of self, or maybe our lives in different ways. So also it's important to realize that as we let go of the old, although it might be uncomfortable, we can at the same time hold space and hold joy as we get really excited to welcome in the new. Stagnant energy in the body just makes for a stagnant life, mundane kind of karmic cycles sometimes, that sometimes we feel like that's the norm. Sometimes stagnant energy might feel like right in the body, where when we receive these energetic upgrades, it kind of kicks up all that energy that's ready to leave, and it enlivens all of our cells and our energy bodies so that we naturally gravitate towards what enlivens us. Does that make sense? So stagnant energy is going to want to resonate with stagnant energy. And when we receive these upgrades, we're enlivened on an inner level, and our inner reality is enlivened. And so we're going to gravitate, we're going to attract things, people, work, passions that enliven us. Another way to look at this kind of cycle for upgrades and letting go of the old while also welcoming the new is if we look out into nature. So if you were to go into the forest, you would see that there's if we looked at a tree, it might have really dry and flaky bark, or the branches some branches could be dying or dead. And that's kind of the presence of winter that's still visible. And, we also might look on the ground floor and see kind of trunks that have moss growing on it. And this might look like, this might be the new, this is birthing something new. So this is the presence of spring emerging. We may be walking and we can also see crunchy, crispy leaves that are still on the ground from autumn. So we can see that all seasons are existing now in nature. And that is the same even within us. We're never going to be all old energy or all new energy. We kind of have to learn how to live in harmony with it all and recognize that each season is just as important. So to prepare for this meditation, we're going to come together as a group online and take this energetic tour of Newgrange. The plan is that we will, use our imagination and our mind's eye to travel to Newgrange and say hello to the mystical beings, the protector spirits that protect and guard this sacred land, honor and show gratitude. We're also going to engage in a really soulful and meaningful collaboration with the energy vortex of Newgrange beneath the land. We're going to support the vortex in what it's up to, and we're going to ask it to support us right back. So for this meditation, I suggest sitting in a very comfortable spot, maybe something behind your back to kind of that you can lean back on and feel comfortable. You are welcome to lie down, but it is quite easy to fall asleep. So, I mean, if you do fall asleep, it's not the end of the world. Trust that this work is happening on a subconscious and deeper level.